Hey guys, what's up? This is Master Billy. Welcome back to another video. And today we're starting a new series where I'm going to be breaking down Ninja Warrior film. So, for those of you that don't know, I do Ninja Warrior, and so I just wanted to break down some of my runs and then talk about them, give some coaching points. So yeah. So, also before I get started, if anyone has any better name suggestions for the series, please let me know. But for right now, it's just going to be Ninja Warrior film breakdown because I have no idea what to call it. So yeah, so I'm going to be breaking down two runs that I had recently, a few weeks ago, at Ninja Mania in December 2025. So yeah, so let's get into it. We're going to start with the challenge course. So, for those of you that don't know how course types work, challenge course is you get retries on obstacles, so normal clearing rules, but let's say you fail the second obstacle, you could retry it, but if you fail it again, it's a fail. But if you clear it on that retry, you can retry the third obstacle. You fail that twice, fail, and then the third unique obstacle that you fail, your run's over, points stop counting. So yeah. So, like I said, Ninja Mania comp. The obstacles for the challenge course are quad steps, pegs, balance tank / roller, pendulums, discs, spinning spider wall, cane wall run, skyhook / rings, flying bar, and cliffhangers or vertical limits. So yeah, let's get into. So this part, I'm going to be showing my full run first. I'll commentate a little bit. There's also commentary already on it from my friend Alex Asconi. So yeah, here's the run. Quad steps, pretty simple. Do them quick.
Moving very quickly.
Quick on the pegs too. A little weird how I did them, but it was quick. Now the roller, tall so I can get onto it pretty easily, and then jumping up's also pretty easy because of the height. There's a little pullback here on the pendulums to make a skip because there's an extra one. Your discs, got the bowl. Disc, I probably could have gone there, but it's okay. Now spinning spider wall, got to get a big jump, stick my hands and feet in there, and then it's supposed to stop. It keeps going back on me, but I didn't even realize. Now reaching out to the trapeze for the cane wall run. Grab the cane off the wall. I could have gone there, but my guy Cody told me not to, which probably was the right decision. Excuse me. Alright, now we have rings, the skyhook. Cody's telling me to get keep my chest close to the wall, and then also hit it feet first. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So I'm going to build up a pullback here, match, and go. So that's the wall he's talking about, feet first, and then grabbing onto the slider. Now we got flying bar. Switch grip, big jump blink, and then a quick move here. Now I'm getting out early. Don't want to make a mistake, unnecessary mistake. Now we got the VL slider. This one, for me, was pretty easy. Obviously, I'll break it down. I'll break it down after the run. I probably should have said that before I started watching this, but yeah, I'm breaking down each obstacle after the full run. You'll see in a second. But yeah, just reach out using the thumbs to pinch. Pretty simple. Yeah.
Dude, what are they feeding you down there?
So I got first at this comp, which was pretty cool. But yeah, so like I said, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna break down. So course breakdown. So quad steps, pegs, and discs are red because I'm not going to cover them at all. I mean, you saw them. There's not much to go over for these specific versions of the obstacles. Balancing and roller I will go over in detail. Pendulums I'll briefly talk about. Spinning spider wall I want to talk about it a lot, but we'll see. There's a bit of a problem, which you'll see when we get there. Cane wall run I'll go into a little detail on. I'll spend a lot of time on the skyhook rings. Then flying bar and cliffhangers I'll go over a little bit as well. Alright. So, balance tank, roller, and pendulums. First off, roller. So, my good friend B sent me the video of her run, but it wasn't letting me like upload it onto my computer for some reason, so I ended up having to take a screenshot. So this is what I got. But yeah, so the roller, because I'm tall, I'm able to just reach my feet out onto it, and I don't really have to do the lache onto it tech. B is short, so she has to lache onto it, which makes it significantly more difficult for her. And so that's the main part I want to talk about, is having to lache onto a roller, because say this is a little bit further, I then have to do that tech, but luckily I didn't have to. So on a roller, you want to lean forward to stand up straight. When you're lacheing into it, you want to lean forwards a little bit. She's obviously leaning forwards, but the problem is she has a lot of bend in her knees, so her body weight's still back. So when she hit it, she lands on the middle, but she's not on top of it because of the bend. If she wasn't bending, she'd be fine. And so in Redemption Time, she ended up getting it, but it's like little things where you can't bend your knees when you're like, obviously you do want to bend to like absorb some of the landing, but like you don't want to bend like this. You bend like this, you're falling backwards, and it's not going to be fun. You're also going to fail. But you do want to lean forwards. Like here, I'm leaning forwards. I'm also leaning forwards because I have to go under the barrel, and then jumping's jumping. But main thing is try not to squat as much when you're lacheing to it, and then also try and land on top of it. You land like back here, you're going back here. Like you're just going to push it forwards. Land in the front, you could save it, but you're also going to now be in the front, and you just have to like run and hope that you can make the jump up to the ring. So that's what I'm talking about here with posture on the roller, is leaning forwards and then feet position and all that. And then this next part, I say pullbacks here, and I'm just briefly mentioning it. Here I get a big pullback so that I'm able to do the skip, and I'm able to skip this because that's the other hold that was in play. But because I'm able to generate a lot of power in my pullback, I could skip that. And a lot of the power comes from the legs on pullbacks. People don't really realize that. They think it's all arms. But I'll get into more details on pullbacks on the skyhooks and rings. So let's move on to the next obstacle. Spider wall and the cane wall run. So I have a picture of cane, but we'll talk about the spider wall first. So I'm back here because I want to get a big run up, jump, get a big bounce, and hit the spider wall. And you want to obviously apply pressure with your arms and legs when you get in there, but you also want to time it. So the timing is going to be hard for me to show because of Cody here. But also on trampoline, you want to like circle your arms to get a big jump, which this isn't the best obstacle to show that, but just something to know. And so as you can see, it looks like I'm timing my arms and legs like at the same time. You obviously can't see these two hitting, but I'm also applying pressure. So timing and applying pressure is the biggest thing on these, on spider walls. And then also for applying pressure, if I'm not applying a lot of pressure here, when this stops right there, I'm falling out of it. Because I have a lot of pressure, I don't really move. So I'm fine. I know you can't see me because of these two. But if you apply a lot of pressure, you can't fall out of it when it like stops or hits something, and then it also prevents you from sliding a lot easier. Yeah. And then on the cane, we'll just skip ahead a little bit. So my hands are positioned here on the bottom, and then also one up here right under the start of the arch. On something like this, that's where you want your hands, because it keeps the cane, like, it makes it a lot easier to control it, and it makes it so it won't fall out. And then the reason why I say where to aim, a lot of people, when they go for a cane, they'll just swipe down on it, and so they'll hit the ring and it'll just fly away from them, because if you just hit it with the tip of the cane, it's going to move. The ring's going to move because it's on a strap, and so you're going to go down, the ring's going to go forwards, you're not going to make it. So here I'm aiming well above the actual ring. That way I can guarantee that I'm going to land the cane on the ring. If I don't do that, then like I said, I'm just going to swipe it and it's just going to fall. But you also don't want to go too high to where you're hitting the top and then the whole thing goes away from you, even though you're high up. Yeah, that's it for the cane and the spider wall. Sky hooks and rings. All right, so pullbacks and niche aspects. You'll see what I mean with this in a second. So again, Cody tell me, actually I'll talk about that part after. So pullbacks. So I do a little pullback there. That one's mostly just arms. This one, I slow myself down right before I get the actual pull. And then here, you see how I'm pulling with the front hand and my legs are going up. That starts my momentum, so we'll show that again. Knees up and then back. So that's what this is. You're pulling with the back arm, and then you're also lifting your legs. If you don't lift your legs, you're going to have like close to no power. The more you lift your legs, the more power you get. That's generally how power works with laches and all that. So like same thing on a lache. You want your legs up high on your backswing, and then it'll just carry you through and give you a lot of power. That's where everyone's power comes from when they're swinging. Same thing with pullbacks. When you're swinging, legs back, and they just do the rest for you. So my legs are back. Well, really, my whole body is back now because my legs are back. And it carries me and gives me a lot of momentum, which means I don't have to swing on this ring. Which also, if I don't commit to it, it's hard to see, and the hook never really gets shown. It actually kind of looks like these hooks. If I don't commit to it on that first one, I'm falling off the hook, because the hook isn't like, it's not big, and the angle that it's at, it makes it so that the ring could pop out if you don't go when you have a lot of swing. So on sky hooks, if you have a lot of swing on your backswing but you don't want to go for it, you have to try to slow down your front swing, because otherwise you're just gonna, on most sky hooks, you're just gonna fall off. Like the ring's gonna slide off the thing, which is gonna result in a fail. So the niche aspects I'm talking about with this obstacle, I'm going feet first, like on something with a wall, right? You want to go feet first, one, so you don't like hit your face or anything, and then two, it helps stabilize you a little bit, and then it gives you time to get your hands in the right place. So feet first, getting the ring on. I would have liked to get a little bit closer to the wall so that I don't have to go as much like out like that, but still I'm able to hook it. And then on something like this, where it's a doorknob, a ring on a doorknob, like what I was saying with the hooks that we use for sky hooks at Ninja Mania are we use J bars as the hooks. Um, and that keeps the ring on a lot more than a doorknob. Doorknob, as you can see here, is really small. So if you look at the way I swing on it, let me go back a little bit more. I'm getting a tiny kick out and pulling up. I don't want to swing out because then there's a chance that it falls off the doorknob. So I'm pulling. I'm using my momentum from swinging so I can reach out easier, but I'm pulling in order to make it so I don't fall off of that. Because if I do, I have to retry the obstacle. So then static to this ring. Actually, that's basically what a J bar looks like. Yeah. That's the sky hooks and the rings. All right, flying bar and cliffhanger. So, talk about the flying bar first because it comes first. On most flying bars, you're going to want a switch grip. So, hands facing opposite directions. It helps prevent the bar from spinning if you didn't know that. You also want to use your thumbs because, again, it helps with the spinning and it gives you more control of the bar. If you're holding it like this, there's like, obviously, if you're holding it tight, you're going to be fine, most likely. But you never know. Like, if your hand lifts a little bit, you're losing grip on one hand or both. And then another thing I'll talk about here is I'm jump linking this. So I'm jumping up, getting my legs back, which means when I get on it, my legs are already back, so I don't have to swing. So they'll just carry me right to the next part, which allows me to pop off and do that. And then another thing with the flying bar is when you're swinging, if the cradles are something like this where they don't have a lip to it on the edge and you can just slide off, you want to pull down, especially on your backswing. You can see it a little bit here. I'm pulling down because if I don't pull, like gravity might keep me on, but there's also a chance that the bar just flies backwards because my momentum's going backwards. So that's why you have to pull down in order to keep yourself on the lily pads. And then right off of it. And then now for this one. There are cliffhangers at the end of it that I don't use. Just because, one, I didn't realize they were in the course. I had to walk out during the walkthrough for something. And so I didn't know that they were in the course, but also I was going to skip regardless. But this part right here. So you see how my arms are bent when I grab the VL, which for those of you that don't know, VL is a very small cliffhanger. It's also the long version, vertical limit. So it's a small cliffhanger. You typically, because it's so small, you want to pinch with your thumbs to give you better grip on it. But also something that I saw a lot of people doing during this comp is rather than going in 90 degrees, lock off, bent arm, whatever you want to call it, they would straighten their arm, which gives you way less control. And it also gives you no room to absorb the pullback that you then have. So if you're just, and because it's already a small enough, like it's a small ledge, if you're pulling back and you have a lot of momentum and you're straight arm, you're not engaging as much strength as you could be, and your hand's just going to slide right off. So I saw that happen to a lot of people during the weekend. So yeah, bend your arm on VLs, especially if it's a longer line too. It makes it a lot easier when you're bent moving across as opposed to straight arm moving across. Okay, so now we're going to move into the flow course. Again, December, Ninja Mania. So, flow course, different rules, but this one more people are probably familiar with. It's a typical, you have one run, you fall, your points stop. So, yeah, it's very easy to understand and explain. That's flow. For the course breakdown, we have quad steps again, wall climb / sliders, one obstacle, 2 parts, you'll see. Rings, ladder, bow ties, tack boards, eyes, skateboard, lily pads, and the swinging board. Okay. So the full run. Let's watch this. So quad steps, we have the bar inside jump length. The red base is allowed for this because it's pretty simple, but we have the things, you have to move them up, the horns, slider, got the hips back. Rings, I'm bumping through the rings. I'll talk about that. Use a ladder. Pretty simple ladder. Obstacle, nothing too crazy. Here's the bow ties. I could have done this a lot cleaner. I'll just let you in on a little secret. I was not feeling well during this comp. Tack boards. This one's not too bad. I'll explain my thought process on it and like how I think about that obstacle and explain it while coaching. The eyes, which is something that course designer for this one, Quinn, he made for this comp. It's pretty cool. I fail it, obviously. I'll talk about that. Skateboard, I always hated. I hate skateboards, but I got this one, thankfully. Barrel, pretty simple, just switch grip it, you're fine. Lily pads. Lily pads are so hit or miss sometimes. I don't know how I didn't fail that first move. And then barrel will climb up to the swinging board, which this one I'll talk about. You'll see it's weird if you've never done anything like it before. But it's not that bad if you have done something similar or you know the tech. And then dismounting and buzzer. So with the flow course thing, none of my points after the eyes counted, even though I cleared everything else. Alright. So course breakdown, we only have 2 things we're not going to cover. This is a quicker course though. Quad steps, bow ties, not going to cover. We'll vaguely cover the wall climb / slider, the rings, ladder / Jeremy's favorite, that's what it was called during the comp. I'll explain why. The eyes, and then the lily pads. Those are all the things we'll vaguely cover. And then tack boards, skateboard, swinging board, all the boards. I'll go into a little bit more detail on. So, wall climb / slider and rings. So, key takeaways: hips / legs back, and then bumping. Bumping's for the rings. You'll see what I mean on that. So, horns up. This one's pretty chill. And then this is the main focus of this obstacle. So, I do it a little bit, but on a slider type obstacle, depending on how far it is, your dismount, which this one, the dismount's not far at all, you want to get your hips back and your legs back. So just like this, you want to get them back, because that's going to give you, if you time it right, of course, you have to time it right, depending on how long the track is and how far everything, like, there's timing to it, but you want to get your legs back, and then they'll come down as you hit the end. Ideally, as you hit this part where the ring will stop, your body starts to go forwards because the ring is stopped. So if you time it right and you get your legs going forwards, it gives you a lot more power. So if you time it right, you can have a lot of power to easily make it to the dismount platform, which is why I did it here, and I didn't do it to like a substantial degree because the platform's right there. I didn't need to overdo it. But also, when you're getting your hips back on a slider, you're pulling down, just like on the flying bar, pulling down a little bit. So that's why my arms are bent. Yeah, so pull down, legs back, it'll shoot you right out. and then rings. So bumping. This is a big thing if you want to get faster on rings. So the way I go into the rings on this one, right? I just go straight into it, and I'm falling into it, and I'm letting my fall give me momentum to get through. And so when you bump, you're on one ring here, and then you're going quick to the next, is how I bump. I think that's how most people bump. So there's some people who do it differently, but I go 1, 2, match, 1, 2, match. And so I didn't have a lot of power here, so like I barely got off the dismount platform clean. So maybe I should have gotten a pullback here. But with the bump, you need power going into it. If you don't have power, it's not going to work. And then it's quick moves. You have to do them quick. If you do it quick, you can carry your momentum all the way through. So like there's times where like at Ninja Mania we'll just have a long line of rings set up so that we can just practice them or just warm up or something. I get a big pullback on the first two, and then I just quick across all of them, just quick hand movements, carries my momentum all the way through the obstacle. It's a really nice skill to know for getting through rings or like cannonballs, holds. Cannonballs is hard to do, like nunchucks, cones. It's a nice skill to have for different grips. But yeah. So ladder, Jeremy's favorite. So really the only thing on this one is grip, which thumbs. You see my thumb wraps around, and then there's PVC on here, so I'm switch gripping on the PVC. I'm also still using my thumbs because they're smaller. If it's a bigger PVC, you're just going whole hand. But the reason why it's called Jeremy's favorite, that's the main reason why we're going over this obstacle, because there's not much else to go over. We had this coach on team for a long time. His name was Jeremy, and one of the last courses he did before he left to go find a different job was, or one of the drills he set up was ladder burnout, which if you know what burnout is, like no dropping, or if you don't know what burnout is, you just don't drop. You're just seeing how long you can go without dropping. And so it was literally just down and back on ladders, and it was just, yeah, that's one of the, like, that's the course that we remember from Jeremy. Remember some other ones obviously, but that is like, when we think of a Jeremy course, that's the one we think of. So tack boards. So the main thing on these is confidence and commitment. There's the reason why there's no actual like skill to this one that you have to learn, or like a skill takeaway here, is because that's all it is confidence and commitment. I'm putting my foot out here. You don't have to do that when you're doing it. You can just run through it. That's how a lot of people do it. I do that because it makes me more comfortable. But I'm literally just pushing off of one foot, going right into the next one like it's a quintuple step. And then I wasn't allowed hands on that last board, so I'm reaching out with my right foot basically to stabilize myself, and then I'm just grabbing that ring. Most people, like I said, they just run through it. It's the same thing. You just have to commit and be confident. If you don't commit and you're not confident, you're going to just stand on it and fall. And if you're not allowed to lean into the board and you don't commit, you could lean into the board, that's a fail. So you just have to commit and be confident and just go for it on something like this. Like, again, I know it's not an actual skill, but that's the only thing you can really get from this. And it's kind of a big one, just based on how it, like, if you see something like this, you just have to trust yourself. That's the only thing you can do. If you don't trust yourself, you're not going to make it. Okay, so now eyes and the skateboard. So the main thing here is the skateboard, but the eyes, it's a really cool obstacle from my guy Quinn. So I do want to talk about it. I know I fail it. So let me pause. So both eyes move the same way. It's just this one's preloaded down, that one's preloaded sideways like that. So when I was on it, I realized I'm tall enough I could probably static it. What I should have done is just lit shade to it, because there's a cliffhanger on the bottom here, but I don't want to lit shade into a blind grab, because if I mess up the blind grab, I fail. What I should have done is go sideways, because when that thing falls down, it's then flat. So if you grab the sides, while it's actually up, you're not really grabbing onto it. And so gravity isn't really going to affect you while it's like that. It's only going to affect you while it's flat, which means you're just holding onto a board, which makes it significantly easier than doing that. Staticking was way harder than if I just lit shade to it. I didn't realize that in the moment, but also I was just thinking, oh, I'm tall, I can just get away with this. Can't. So those are some things you have to look at, is like the design of an obstacle, which most people do not look at. They just look at an obstacle and just say, all right, I understand this obstacle, I'm gonna do it. Sometimes you have to look at the design and think about it. I was also the second runner, so I also didn't watch the first runner, which is on me. But like, you have to realize how some things work. So that's a mistake that should have been avoided. And then right here, the key takeaways. So momentum. I'm going to push it out a little bit, and then what I should have done is gone further back on the block here. But either way, I get a tiny run up, and it just gives me enough momentum to slide to the end. That's what you need on a skateboard, is you need momentum. And so I gave myself enough momentum to make it to the end. Now, feet positioning. You can see when I first get on it, my feet are really close together. If they weren't staggered like that or like that, I'm falling. And so the reason why I take an extra step out is to prevent myself from, when I hit the mat, from falling forwards. So the second day of the comp was all the younger divisions, and so I was demoing kids division. I failed this obstacle because I stood 2 feet close together. So when I jumped to it, I just fell back. So you want to stagger your feet. That way you have more balance and control on your base. And then the barrel on this obstacle is just switch grip. But yeah, on something like this, where it's a moving object that you're standing on, it's moving and it's flat, stagger your feet. Very important. Alright, the last 2 obstacles we're going to talk about in today's video: lily pads and the swinging board. Key takeaways: foot placement and swing generation. So the foot placement I'm talking about is on the lily pad. So you see my foot is directly in the middle. That's how you want to do the lily pads. If your foot's off to the side, even a little bit, especially, so this lily pad's a little broken, so that's why it like goes all crazy on me. But if you're to the side on that thing, I'm falling. Like, no way I'm staying on it. But because I'm in the middle, I'm able to keep my balance. So middle, 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 middle. Just makes it a whole lot easier. Yeah. And then for the swinging board, the swing generation is applied to this, obviously, not the lily pads. So I jump out, and then here. It's hard to see because my guy Tariq, who was doing the live stream, he didn't record me going back. He just held this position, which is fine for the live stream, but for me doing this video, it's not the best. Excuse me, but I'm up like this, and you can see I'm starting to do it, but I'm squatting down. This is how you would swing on a TikTok. For those of you that know what a TikTok is, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what the TikTok is in Ninja, not the app, the obstacle, it's basically, it swings like this, but obviously it's not a board, it's something else. But the swing generation on this board is a TikTok swing. So you're holding, how I do it is I hold up high, standing up, and then on the backswing, I squat, but also when I squat, I lower my hands because it allows me to get low. You want to get as low as possible when you squat. So I'm going all the way down. Like it's hard to tell here because this is just when I first re-enter frame, but I'm literally going all the way down. My butt is touching my heels when I go down. So and when you do that, you get a lot of power. So here I go squat, a lot more power. Then here in squat, I get onto it. So it's just squat down on your backswing, and you have it every time. And then you also want to stand back up. So, yeah, you squat, and while you're still going forward, you're standing up. Because if you stand up at the wrong time, it can mess up your momentum, especially depending on the TikTok. Sorry. My voice is going from talking. But yeah, so TikToks, you just squat and drag the hands down. At least that's how I do it. Some people don't drag the hands, I think, but it makes it a lot easier if you do. But the squat is mandatory. That's how you're going to build your swing. And then on one where it locks in, you want to keep your feet pressed in, and you want to hold, like when you know. So I'm checking here. You can see my head's off to the side. I'm checking to see when it's going to lock in, like which swing. So I actually, on the swing prior, I checked, and I saw like that it hit but didn't fully go in. So I knew, all right, this next one, it's going in. So you have to know that, because you have to be able to squeeze, and then you also got to try and keep your feet on it, because that helps alleviate some of the pressure from your arms. So you're pulling, and then you're also pushing with your feet, and then just shimmying down and lacheting off the board here. Yeah, I think that's it for the swinging board and lily pads. So brings us to the outro. So first off, I just want to shout out Ninja Mania for hosting the comp, Coach Ryan for creating the challenge course, Coach Quinn for creating the flow course. He wasn't there on the day I competed because he was not feeling well. Chris judged, so shout out Chris for judging on the flow course, doing a good job with that. Shout out Cody for coaching me on challenge course, and shout out B for giving me the picture and video for the roller. And then yeah, so picture the gym's logo. I'm gonna do this stuff every time. Every time I do one of these videos, I'm gonna just put the gym logo here. But yeah, comment any suggestions you have and any feedback, please, because this is my first video in the series. So I just want you guys to let me know what you think would make it better, or like what would make this better. Like the series, I need a name suggestion again. Just want to reiterate that. And then also, in the future, I don't want to only do just my runs. I also want to do other people's runs. And so if you can give me suggestions on someone's run that you want me to break down, let me know. But if you do that, just let me know who the runner is, what gym the competition was at, or venue or whatever, what league it was for, which, by the way, this was a World Ninja League competition. I forgot to mention that, WNL competition. So name of the person competing, name of the gym, the league, and then also when the competition was. So like this one, like I had December 2025 written down, so that if you guys were interested, you can go back and watch the competition. If you wanted to, you can go back and see Ninja Mania December 2025 comp. But also, if you're suggesting a run to me, I need to know when the run was, so I can go find the video. But also, if you already have it and you could send it to me, that would be helpful, because then I don't have to go digging for that. But still, I need to know when it was, so again, I can write that down. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this new series. Again, feedback, suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Hopefully, there's some ninjas out there who learned stuff from this video. That's the goal, is to learn from my runs, other people's runs, just learn how to do obstacles and different tech and stuff. And also, if you want me to break down like certain obstacle types instead of just runs, I could do that too. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed, and see y'all on the next one. Bye.